A strong attack, followed by a formidable bark. The efficient sequential disbursement of a sizable round, after round, after round, after round. Hi, Six Snipes here, back with the final entry of both this season and every single gunner weapon ever. Yeah, that didn't take long, and yes, you can fix it in WI. Please fix it, please, hey, please, add more. I'm just asking. Rounding things off with the certified NATO classic, you're watching Gun Guide. The M240 Bravo is the squad automatic weapons variant of the M240 or M240E1 machine gun, which was initially designed with the intention of being a coaxial MG and pintle mounted support option for increasingly modern tanks like the Patton and the Abrams. Developed in large part by FN America, a branch of Belgian manufacturer FN Herstal, the gun pretty much certifies their design as the top shit you ever seen coming off the European market.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
While the M240 is the United States military designation for their tailored model, the broad production variant held as the standard squad automatic weapon by NATO is designated the FN MAG.
Oh shit, William, look!
This came to pass after continuous use of the platform being mounted to armored vehicles as well as hanging off the side of Blackhawks and other helos, and the general notion being held by its operators that it would be a vastly better alternative to the then current M60E4 chambered in the very same 7.62x5.4 NATO that infantry teams were using with mixed results.
Yeah, got the ammo in a bind.
Calling back to the classic joke, how many Marines does it take to run with an M240E1? 1 to shoot the gun and 40 to carry the tank around.
For the love of God! For the love of God! Please!
In design terms, to replace the less reliable and previously utilized M73E1 machine gun in the coaxial emplacements and gunner seats of the Pattons, they went straight for the old reliable formula of having the least complex weapon humanly possible, with an open bolt and stationary firing pin assembly, making for a design that has, with little exaggeration as possible, like 2 moving parts, man. In game, it's a trooper of a gun and is, regardless of my opinions about the M249 being better, actually my favorite in the lineup, featuring in my mind the best caliber present in other smash hits such as the Tavor, FAL, and M110, plus an AP stat boost giving it far better penetration than average. This one is basically gonna put down any given target with 1 shot, and moreover is capable of serving as an anti-vehicular element capable of shredding both the engine block of a technical and the rotor of a heli with both precision and efficacy.
Okay, down!
I feel like I thoroughly articulated in my last video about the MG3 that 1000 rounds per minute is simply too high, especially given a caliber that doesn't need to be utilized in burst increments higher than 2, combined with a machine gun recoil and machine gun reload, making missing costly and having to reload earlier subsequently devastating. This issue is next to solved with the M240B. Yes, it still reloads slow and the recoil is actually worse on a shot-to-shot basis, however with a crisp sub M4 level 706 rounds per minute, capacity issues are far reduced, and it even makes the 50 round default warlap pouch thing far more usable, not to mention that at 300 rounds per minute less, the recoil in practice is far reduced given such a substantial drop in fire rate, plus more velocity and penetration to boot, making the Bravo the more efficient, higher damage superior alternative to what was otherwise a rather innovative addition to small arms warfare. 80 years ago. Once again, the machine gun trope of fewer attachments returns, however with such an expensive piece that's not anywhere near as brain-boggling it would be for the cheaper M249 or PKM, and while only 1 credit more expensive, if you want to upgrade to what appears to be literally cardboard 100 round box mags, it'll run you a whopping 3 credits, buddy, making it into a 7 credit gun if you want to fully realize the squad support element that it is, and believe me, in large scale war modes, you do. 50 rounds is cool and shit, but try using that for more than like 1 round of outpost and you'll realize that it's just not it. In fact, I literally chose to forego picking it as soon as immediately possible and instead continuing usage of the cheaper PKM that, while granted is less consistent with those one-shots, does have the 100 rounds default, not to mention for the same price I could also get 200 rounds per belt with the 249, so it's just better for everything but like the last couple waves. In reality, getting an M240 with a triple digit capacity with a decent optic with a secondary, with a carrier, with armor, with a gas mask is frankly a unicorn. You can't do it and something's gonna have to get dropped. This is the Achilles heel of what would otherwise be an absolute unit of a gun, but at the end of the day, while significantly less so than the MG3, it is thwarted by the fickle mistress that is economy. In boosted resource modes like domination with lower player count and smaller maps, granted it's less useful where it's strong, however it still rocks with the extra handful of credits to make your build more usable. I'll even do this thing, no attachments, no optics, no rocket, just as it is in CQB, and yeah, there's a trigger delay and reload and all that, but the reality is if someone gets caught with this thing, they are gone, assuming your aim isn't complete dog shit. Even if you're playing completely off and botch something simple like maneuvering to make the shot, be sure to remember that when you're chambering armor-piercing 308, walls are more of a visual obstruction than an actual obstacle.
Sector clear.
But before you write this thing off fully, I will note that in custom servers competent enough to give you higher credit quantities and higher bot count, because, why wouldn't you, the ability to buy whatever you want as a gunner makes you stupid for not using this thing. The sheer quantity of kills you can net with a single belt of this will make you reconsider the true meaning of power, and ultimately you will completely stomp on any attack force attempting to counter the push of friendlies. As for builds, I go for 100 rounds, with a flash hider so they don't see me, and a hollow plus toggle magnifier, and then try to afford whatever else afterwards, with priority going to the carriers, as at least with the light one you can reload if you really need even more bullets before the next resupply opportunity hits. If I'm trying to lose credits, I will drop the optic and just use the irons because I'm not paying for a 1 credit sight when I know the enemy is going to be closer rather than further, and the ring picture is actually very, very good even at moderate ranges. In conclusion, the Bravo doesn't slap, it slams. The issue is that it's just too damn expensive to consider usage in bitcho mode push, but if you're blessed to have the resources to run it, I struggle to see any reason not to. In fact, I would say that you unequivocally should. Brutal in every respect, efficient in comparison, and a steady chug of brass and broken belt ejected from a weapon that's nothing to be laughed at. That's pretty much all I have to say about the M240B. If they ever end up adding the armored vehicles that have been requested since Corona was known as a name brand beer, I really hope one of the vehicle mounted variants makes an addition to one of those, as they uniquely feature a gas regulator setting which allows you to actually switch the rate of fire they come at from anywhere between 650 to 950 rounds per minute, giving a pretty solid competition in rate of fire to the sandpaper sounding ass 10 minutes being touted as the best by the insurgents. But until then, an internet personality devoid of any traits belonging to their actual self can only dream. I'm Six Snipes, this is the powerful M240 Bravo, and you've been watching Gun Guide. I'll see you out there in Sandstorm.